Bhatt. He is pursuing his PhD in applied mathematics from Maharaja Sayajirao University, Baroda. He is also a lecturer in Navrachna University and teaching assistant in MS University. He has several diverse publications under his name, for which he has bagged many awards and recognition. And today, he is going to discuss about exploring data with Excel. Welcome, Professor Shraddha Bhatt. Over to you, sir.
Okay, is my screen visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So good morning, all of you. So this presentation is about exploring data with Excel. So in the first session, we saw that what basically the data journalism is. What are the elements of this data journalism? So in this, we will see how to apply those techniques. I mean, when we want to analyze data, how we can do that. Now, there are several methods. We can use the basic software, which is Microsoft Excel. And there are some other softwares also. And apart from that, there are some programming languages also. For example, Python and R and many other tools are there. So I think a journalist should have at least knowledge of one of these softwares so that he or she can analyze the data in more effective manner. I'll be introducing how to do all these things in Excel using the real world data. So these are some well-known spreadsheet softwares. Microsoft Excel, it is very well-known, very famous. And there are some other free softwares like LibreOffice Calc, OpenOffice Calc, and Google Sheets. So Microsoft Excel is basically licensed-based software, but the other three softwares mentioned here are free software, open source. You can download it freely from their website. So they all work similar to Microsoft Excel. So all the features of Microsoft Excel are covered in this. Not all, but most of the features are there. So as Varsha madam explained very nicely that the data tells the story. Okay, we have a data in form of tables, in form of text, in form of facts. But then it's a job of a journalist to convert that data into the story and to put it in a very effective way in front of the readers. And that is why this data analysis techniques and those things are very important. So when you have a raw data, okay, you need to analyze it, visualize it, and you have to present it in very nice way. And that will give us a nice story. In our today's session, I will show you how to create story from the data. So basically, data journalism is a journey from data to stories. Okay, so we start our journey with data, and then along the journey we came across several steps, and finally we end our journey at story. So the first step is the collection of data. Collecting a data from the authentic source is very important. Okay, so for example, if you are taking data of population of India, then you should go for the census website. Okay, so the source of data is very important. So that is the collection of data. And when you collect the data, it will be in raw format. So you need to do some pre-processing. And that pre-processing can be done using filtering the data, because all the data may or may not be helpful for us. Okay, we need only some part of data. And for that, filtering techniques are there. So we'll see how to do filtering in Excel. Then we can analyze the data using various techniques. We can forecast the data. We can create a different type of tables, and we can find the averages. And so data, there are some patterns hidden inside the data, which looking at the data, looking at the table, we will not be able to see those patterns. If we filter them, if we analyze them, then we will be able to find some pattern hidden inside the data. And we will see different analyzing techniques in Excel. Visualize data is the next step. That means when you present the data in table form, it can be a huge table, and it's very difficult to fit the table inside a story. So it is always important to present the data in graphical form. Okay, so it is very important to visualize data. We will see some visual techniques in Excel. And finally, combining all these things, we can create a nice story and we can present it in front of people. So these are the 5 steps which presents the journey from data to stories. So the first step is the collection of data. So in my today's presentation, I'll be showing you some real world data, which is collected from this websites. So we'll be dealing with the COVID-19 data. So the global COVID-19 data I have taken from this website, worldometers.info. And this all data were downloaded yesterday evening. So they are very recent data. The COVID-19 India data, that means state-wise data, I have collected from the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare website, Government of India. And then I've also downloaded the district-wise data of Gujarat state, which is again taken from the government website. So this is the website. I'll show you all this data. And then I've also taken, this is one example. In another example, I've taken the data of India population, and that is from the Census of India website. This is the website. So we have data right from 1901 to 2011. And using that, we will be forecasting data, what will be the population of India in 2050. That also can be done using Excel. And we'll be dealing with some cricket statistics data also that can be very useful for sports journalism. Always in newspapers and magazines, there is a lot of talk about a particular batsman is in form, particular bowler is in form or not. So those type of cricket statistic data is also taken in my presentation. I have taken this data from ESPN cricinfo.com, and we'll be doing some analysis related to this data. So these are the 6 data sets I have considered for my presentation. So the first step is the filtering. The second step after collecting the data is filtering data. So for filtering data, there are several techniques. In Excel, you can do it automatically using filters. Okay. So how to apply filters in Excel? So first of all, you need to select the data which you want to analyze, and then click on sort and filter in home tab. Okay, so I'll show you how it looks. And finally, then click on filter. Okay, then you'll be able to see some filter signs in front of each columns, and then you can do all the types of analysis. Like for example, top 10 items, okay, top 10% of items, sorting, you can sort according to some things, and we'll see all these things. So that icon will look something like this. So this is your home tab of Microsoft Excel, and this is sort and filter. So this is where you want to click. So first you need to select the data, then click here, and finally one menu will open. In that menu, you have to click on filter. And then this icon will be there on each columns. Okay, so that is one thing. So this is filters. So this is how we can filter data using Microsoft Excel. Next step is analyze data. Okay, so once you filter out the data, now you have only important data with you, but still it is in, you can say, you just have tables and numbers with you. Now, from that, you need to find some information. And for that, you have to analyze it. And there are many analyzing techniques in Excel. Out of those, I have covered few of them. Like, for example, first of all, we'll see filtering. Okay, then sorting. So if you want to sort according to some criteria, you can sort your data. And then there's a very important and nice feature of Excel, which is conditional formatting. So conditional formatting is formatting according to the value of data. We will see how this works. It's really nice feature. Uh, Next is if condition. Okay, so if condition means you can filter out some of the data using if else condition, and you can apply. So suppose you have data of students' marks, and you want to give grades to the students according to their marks, then you can use if condition, right? You can even forecast the data. We'll see how to forecast India population in 2050. And pivot table is very important feature of Microsoft Excel. This is the table which will which will be very helpful for journalists to represent the data in very nice manner. I'll be showing you this. And then comes several analysis, mathematical or statistical analysis, like accounting. That means the frequency, how many times particular item is occurring. We can find the maximum and minimum entry from the column. We can also find average and percentage. So these are the basic mathematical tools which can be helpful for us to analyze data. And apart from them, there are many other statistical tools which we can do. Next step is visualization of data. So roughly speaking, this visualization is consisting of 4 parts. We can compare the data. We can find the relationship between data. We can find a distribution of data and composition of data. Okay, so under the composition, we have some things like pie chart and this waterfall charts and stacked column charts. In comparison, we have column charts, bar charts, line charts, radar charts. Relationship data, we have scatter charts, and for distribution, we have histograms and scatter charts. So we'll be looking at pie charts, column charts, and line charts and histograms for our data. And finally, when you have all these things with you, you can create nice data story from the data. And this is how the data journalism works. Now remember, I'm showing you Excel. That doesn't mean that Excel is the only way to analyze data. There are some really nice softwares available in the market which you can use to analyze data. But Excel is the most basic software of them. Excel is powerful enough to do a basic analysis. But if you want to go into depth of the data, I think Python and R are very nice programming languages. But I'll be talking about Excel. And now we will move to hands-on session. So I'll be showing you the things, the data analysis, creating stories, and all those things which is covered in these slides. So now I'm going to share my Excel screen with you. Okay, I've shared Microsoft Excel screen. Is it visible to all of you?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. So you can see I have, so I presented some links in my presentation. So those links consist of data, and I have downloaded that data and I have formatted that data from the beginning. Okay, so formatting means just putting these columns and just aligning the data and putting these nice commas between so that we can understand whether it is 2 lakh or 2 crore or something like that. Okay, and I have downloaded in different sheets. So you can see this is COVID-19 worldwide country-wise data up to 26 March 2021 up to yesterday evening. Okay, roughly around 6 or 6:30 p.m. I downloaded this data. So after that, if new data is there, then it is not there here. But you can say it is quite recent data. And then these are the COVID-19 state-wise cases. all the states of India are covered. This is there in second sheet. And this is about Gujarat, different districts of Gujarat. Okay. Now you see, looking at these numbers, you will feel that yes, some numbers are large, some numbers are small, but you will not be able to find a pattern just by looking at the data. You can see, yes, that I mean, in Botad, the active cases are very less. So situation in Botad is under control. In Ahmedabad and maybe in Surat, a lot of cases are there. So those type of things we can see from here. But I will show you, once you present it graphically, it is so easy to understand for a common person. And this is a very nice data I have obtained. It is from 1st March 2020. 1 year ago, on 1st March, there were only 3 cases of COVID-19 in entire India. Okay. And then that it became 5, 6, 28, 30, you see, and it just went on increasing. And this was a lockdown period. So in lockdown period, everything was under control. You can see up to May, almost the lockdown was there. But then as lockdown was lifted, it has increased a lot. You can see. And now in today's scenario, so these are the today's data. Just a second. Okay, so so the first column says total number of cases, and the second column says total number of deaths. Okay, yes, the numbers are increasing, but at what rate they are increasing? Okay, so that you will not get the insight from this data. For that, we will present it in graphical way, and there are 2 more columns. We'll do the analysis of these columns. Then I have considered this data. This is the data of all the batsmen who have played 2020 international cricket. So 2020 international cricket started in around 2004 or maybe 2005, and 2007 was the first 2020 World Cup. So this data is consisting of all the batsmen who has played cricket, I mean 2020 international cricket, and who has scored more than 500 runs. So I have considered all the batsmen who have scored more than 500 runs. So number of innings, runs, highest, average, balls faced, everything is there. So we'll be analyzing this data also. And same thing for bowling is also there, right? 2020 international cricket, all the bowlers. And here I have taken criteria of, I think, 20 innings bowled. Okay, I've taken criteria according to innings. Okay, minimum 20 innings he has played. So that data is available with us. Okay, this is taken from cricinfo.com. And then these are all list of all the matches played by India in 2020 international cricket. You can see first match was in 2006 against South Africa. And that was World Cup. Okay. So no, that was not World Cup. World Cup match was this. The first World Cup match was against Pakistan, which was tied, the famous match. And the last match is very recent against England. So in each match, how many runs we are doing, how many wickets we are losing, how many balls we are playing, and what is the result of that match, whether we won, lost, or tied, and whether we batted first or fielded first. You can see innings 2 and 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, right? So inning 2 means we batted second. Innings 1 means we batted first. So that is there. And then finally, we have India population data. You can see from 1901 to every 10 year, okay, up to 2011. So we'll be predicting what will be the data in 2050. Okay, so let us analyze the data. Okay, so so first is this COVID-19's worldwide cases, right? So These are total. So let us try to understand the columns. This first column is nothing but population of particular country. The second column is number of active cases. That means those who are currently affected with the COVID-19. Okay. This third column means those who have already died due to COVID-19. The fourth column is those who have recovered from this disease. And this fifth column is total. So total of all this. So that is total number of cases. Okay. So we have this type of analysis. So now I would like to find out that which country is currently very active in COVID-19. Okay, there are so many countries. You can see almost all the countries of world are covered in this data set, and you see some data is not available, so that is fine. So almost 220 countries are there in this data set. So I will say that what is the proportion of population? So I'll write here proportion of population, proportion of population affected by COVID-19. So this is the column I make. Okay. So that means it is total number of cases divided by the total population. So in world, this is around 2%. You can see, or you can say 1.6%. Now I will drag this. I will drag this up to the end, and that will give us the numbers. Okay. Now I will apply filters. So click here, and then as I told you, click on filters. Okay, let me just select the data. So now you can see this icons are there, that is filters. So using filter, I can sort this data. So I will sort according to the highest I want to know that which country is most affected by COVID-19, and this is world data. So I will highlight this. So world means overall picture, right? So I will click here and I will sort largest to smallest, and this shows that some of the countries like Andorra, Montenegro, they are 15% of population in these countries are affected by COVID-19. It's a large number. 15% means every 15 people out of 100 sample of 100 people are affected by COVID-19. But again, these are very small countries. You see their population is very small. But if you consider the large country, if you want to consider large countries, so let us filter that according to the population. So I will filter here. I want only the top 10 countries. Okay. So I will click here. You see, I'm clicking on the filter of population and the number filter, top 10. Okay. So maybe I can take top 20. Okay. And now you see it will filter out all the small countries. And now we have some big countries like USA. You see in USA, the proportion is 9.5. So basically amongst the big countries, USA is very much affected by COVID-19. Brazil, Turkey, Germany, all these countries are there. And where is India? Well, there it is. Our India is affected by 0.9% of population. That means only 1% out of 100 in India is affected by them. Okay, and now this is just affected. That means it is not necessary that he died. Okay, this is just affected means he had COVID-19, and most of them are recovering. So you can see, and some of these countries are having very less ratios. Okay, so this is how we can analyze amongst the top 20 populated countries. USA is most affected by COVID-19. I'm making this statement by analyzing this data, and we can put this statement in our journalism story. right? So this type of sentence, this type of statements you can make by analyzing the data. So let me clear this filter. So I will click here. Clear filter from population. Okay, and I will, okay, now I will make some other things. Out of all the people who are affected by COVID-19, how many of them are dying for different country? Okay, so I will write here proportion of people. I will write first active proportion of people active due to, I should write some better sentence, percentage of active cases. So how many percentage of active cases are there for different countries? So that I will check. So I will apply the formula equal to, so these are the active cases divided by total number of cases. Okay, and then I have to click on percentage. So 4% is there. I will increase one decimal. So 4.0 for this Andorra. And I will drag this up to the end. Okay, I'll make this yellow because it's a world data. So out of total number of COVID-19 cases, how many of them are affected by, how many of them are affected, how many of them are active? Okay, so let us see. Now I will sort according to this percentage of active cases from largest to smallest. And you see, there are some small countries in which very recent COVID-19 cases are there, and therefore 98, 94, these big numbers are there. Again, I need to filter out according to the population. So I will consider only top 20 countries. So among top 20 countries, again, this shows that in USA, 22% people out of all the total cases of COVID-19, they are active. In Ethiopia, in Egypt, and in worldwide, 17% things are there. Now, again, where is India here? India is here. You can see in India, only 3.6% people are active. Okay, so comparing this according to the global criteria, this number is less in India. Okay, so these are percentage of active cases. Similarly, we will see the percentage of deaths due to COVID-19. I will clear this filter. So this is equal to deaths divided by total cases, and then converting this into percentage with one decimal, and then drag this, and you can see, I request all of you to mute your mics. Someone has unmuted mic. I request all of you to mute their mics. Yes. So you can see here percentage of death. Okay. So I will sort according to the percentage of death. And you can see in Yemen and some of the countries, it is a very high number. But again, population in those countries is relatively less. So I will again apply the population filter. And this time I'll consider top 30 countries. And according to top 30 countries, Mexico is having the highest death ratio. Okay, so every 100%, in every sample of 100% affecting due to COVID-19, 9 people are dying in Mexico. In Egypt, the same ratio is 5.9. In China, it was 5.1. Okay, where is India here? So India is here 1.4. So again, the numbers of India are quite less as compared to the other countries. So not bad, we can say. India is fighting well against COVID-19. So this is with the comparison of world. You can see even world, the death ratio is 2.2. In India, it's 1.4. So this type of stories we can create using data analysis. Next is percentage of recovered. Okay, percentage of recovered. So again, I need to clear this filter. And so this is equal to recovered divided by total cases. Okay, converting into percentage and with 1 decimal. So a lot of people are recovered from COVID-19. Okay, because it's going since 1 year. And I would like to sort according to the percentage, and you see few of the countries 100% recovered. Okay, these are the countries which are very safe from COVID-19. Okay, but again, those countries are having very less population. The Nepal is having a quite significant population, and 98% people are recovered there. But again, here I will analyze this. I will filter it according to the population. So again, I will consider top 25 countries. And in top 25 countries, the proud moment for us, India is at top. 95% of Indian population facing COVID-19 is recovered. And that's a really nice, good thing for us. We are fighting, as I told you earlier, we are fighting nicely against COVID-19. Even in Japan and China and Thailand, all these are Asian countries. So Asian countries, it seems that Asian countries are doing well. Very high percentage of people recovered in these countries. And and if you same thing, if you analyze according to the, if I say active cases, in active cases, you see 91% now 20 I consider top 25 countries. So now France is also there. In France, 91% of cases are there, because last year when lockdown was there, France was not much affected by active cases. Okay, now they are affected more. So France is very serious situation in France at this moment. There are almost so many cases there. Okay, and so now I will clear all the filters. Yeah, so that's the data we have. Now again, looking at this data, looking at this percentage, you will not get the feeling that which number is higher and which number is lower. So there's something called conditional formatting, as I told you. So let us focus on active cases, because active cases are most concerned at this moment. I will sort the data according to name of country. Okay, and then I will select the column of active cases. Okay, so in active cases, I will apply the conditional formatting. In conditional formatting, there's something called data bar, which is very important. Okay, so active cases, so I will present it by red color, and there it is. Okay, so now from this, looking at the numbers, you don't get that feeling. But looking at this colorful bars, you can see that, yeah, in Belgium, 90% cases are there. In this country, 70% cases. In this Netherlands, 35%, 94% in Cyprus. And you see, if you move along the data, you will be able to have the feeling that which country is active. Okay, which country is active in this case. You can see France is also there, 91%. Now percentage of death, again, I will select that column, conditional formatting, data bars. There are many other things also, like color scales and all those things, but I believe that data bars are very nice way of presenting this. So if I do according to the data bar, okay, so you can see 4% in Afghanistan, and there's 4% in Bolivia. These are very high numbers, right? And this 9%, as I told you, Mexico, the death ratio is very high in Mexico. And You can scroll along the data and you can feel what is happening in different countries. In Yemen, 21% death ratio. That's really high. That's too high. I mean, out of every 100 person, 20 are dying in Yemen. And same analysis, you can do it for recovered people. So again, data bar, I will use green color for the recovered people. And you can see in most of the countries, the situation is very nice. But in the countries like Belgium, only 6% recovered. And you can see Cyprus is also struggling to recover. In countries like France, then France, Polynesia, and many countries are still not recovered yet. But you can see in most of the countries, the numbers are almost 90, 70, and 80. Now, you can also make, okay, now I will consider the top 10 countries according to the population. Yeah, there it is, the top 10 countries according to the population. And within these countries, I will analyze something. Okay, so actually this world should not be counted. So I should take top 11. Yes, because world is its addition of all of those things. Yeah, so these are top 11 countries according to the population. And in these countries, we will see what is the situation. Okay, so you can make I want to hide this world. Yeah, so in these countries, I'll make one basic bar diagram. You can see. So in bar diagram, you can see, okay, this is a population chart. I don't want population chart, sorry. Active cases, yes. So if I go according to active cases in top 10 countries, and if I make a bar diagram of them, then this shows that USA is badly affected. You can see USA is currently badly affected, followed by Brazil and Russia, and all the other countries are doing nicely. And same chart you can make for died, number of people died. You can see number of people died. Again, the number is very high in USA, Brazil, and Mexico also, and India also. So this is deaths, and these are deaths and recovered. So in case of recovered, you can make a similar bar chart. You can see this is the bar chart of recovered. So these are based on number of cases. You can make similar graphs based on percentage of cases. Okay. And now I will also show you pie chart that you can make for each country. Like for example, if you select India, active cases, deaths, and recovered. So I'm selecting the columns which is necessary for me. Okay. So now we insert the pie chart. And this pie chart gives us a very nice information that most of the people are recovered in India. You can see here. And if you want some information in pie chart, you have some ready-made layouts here. Yes, you can click on those layouts and you can see, right? All the different formattings are available. So this roughly says 95% is recovered, 4% active, and 1% death. Okay. So this is the analysis, global analysis. Now we will do similar analysis for the states within India. So percentage of active cases, percentage of recovered, and percentage of total. So this is equal to active divided by total, no, not percentage of total, no, percentage of death. And then here recovered divided by total, and here death divided by total, right? And then converting into the percentage with couple of decimals, and then drag it, and there it is. The analysis is ready with us, and we can apply now filters, and from the filters we can sort it. You can see Lakshadweep, Maharashtra, they are having highest percentage of active cases. Okay. And then in Punjab and Chandigarh also 9% cases are active. In Gujarat, the situation is okay. I can't say very good, but not that bad either as compared to Maharashtra and other states. And while there are some states like Andhra Pradesh and this Odisha and West Bengal, they are doing nicely. I must say they are doing nicely because very less than 1% cases are there. Okay. Similarly, I can do analysis for percentage of recovered cases. So Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram, Nagaland, Odisha, and more than 99% cases are recovered. Okay. But then the ratio is less in case of Lakshadweep, Punjab, Chandigarh, and Maharashtra. And percentage of death, the highest percentage of death are in Punjab, almost 3%. And in Sikkim, in Maharashtra, 2% are there. And in other countries, it is in other states, it is less than 2. In Gujarat, it's approximately 1.5. Okay. Again, you can apply all the data bars and different type of things so that you will get a good feel of the data, right? So once we have this type of data bars, what we can do is we can analyze our data and we can make a stories from that. That is what the main aim of this data journalism is, right? And now I would like to show you a very nice graph. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm selecting this data and then I'm going into this insert and recommend charts. So in recommend chart, I will have this map of India. So it's not occurring here at this moment. Yeah, there it is. The map of India. So this chart shows you the comparison of you can say active cases. So in active, so darker the color, the more number of active cases. Okay, so you can see there are very high number of active cases in Maharashtra. So Maharashtra has so many active cases that it is just uh, the other color, the colors of other states are almost same. So let me just do one thing. I just delayed this Maharashtra from here, and now you look at the graph. So apart from Maharashtra, there are some states in which there are so many active cases. Like you can see, the dark color is there in this Punjab, 21,000, and then in I think this Kerala 24,000, and then in Karnataka it is 18,000. Okay, so Maharashtra is extreme case, so therefore is the data of Maharashtra is dominating all the other cases. So this graph doesn't look so good, but maybe I can consider the percentage of active cases rather than just taking total active cases. So that I think will give us some nice insights of the data. So let me select these two columns. So there it is. Now insert recommend chart. Yes, now this is very nice thing. So in this I can see in Maharashtra the active cases are very large, and followed by some dark colors are there in Punjab also, and in the light color means it is not there. Okay, means percentage is less. So this type of charts also you can make using Microsoft Excel, right? And I can also make a similar chart for the percentage of death. So I will select all the states and then this thing. Okay, let me just hide this column so that I can do it nicely. So insert, recommend chart. So India, so actually I have hide the cases, so therefore it is not occurring. Yeah, there it is. So you can see the scale is from 0.06 percentage to 2.92 percentage. And as I told you, according to data analysis, that in Punjab, the death ratio is very high. And in Maharashtra also, so those states are dark and the other states are light as compared to them. So this type of map graph also you can make using Microsoft Excel. That is also possible. And similar data analysis we can do for Gujarat also. Okay. But I think we are running out of time, so I will not show you this Gujarat part. But yeah, I will just make one thing: percentage of active cases. So that is equal to active divided by total number of cases, and then convert into percentage. And from this data, we can analyze using conditional formatting that percentage of active cases are very high in some cities like districts like Dang and Mahisagar and so on. Okay, in Surat also 5% active cases are there. Okay, so these are in trend at this moment. And now we will see the forecasting. Not forecasting, but this is a very important data. Total number of cases and total number of deaths at each date in India. So I want to see what is the difference. Okay, so I will say progressive. No, I will say new cases at particular date. So new case means it will be the difference of current date minus the previous day. So you can see the new cases are 2, because from 3 now 5 cases are there. Okay, so from 2 to 6, that means from 5 to 6, so 1 new case is there. So this column is particularly useful for us. And say similarly, new deaths at particular date. So again, the first entry is December. So there were no deaths till 11 March. So this is equal to this minus this. Okay, and I'm going to drag this. And this will show a very nice information. You see that these are daily new cases. So up to March and April, there were just 100 cases all over the India. You see, but now then the number sometimes increased, sometimes decreased. You see, and it reached almost 78,000 in between, even 80,000, 90,000, 97,000. You see, so in September it was a peak moment for COVID-19 in India, but then it began to decrease. New cases were arriving lesser than the previous days. You see, so in around February, the situation was almost going nicely for us, but then again COVID-19 came back, and from last couple of weeks, you see, it is just increasing again. So if we plot this column, then that will give us some insight. Okay, so let me hide these columns, and I'm going to select this 2 columns. Okay, and then insert, and then I will go for this chart, and I will give some nice formatting to this chart. I think this is nice, right? And this shows us, this tells us a really nice story. Okay, it says that around September, the COVID-19 was at peak. Okay, but it began to fall since October. And it was looking that India is just doing very nicely. Then again in March, the COVID-19 is increasing, and this is yesterday's scenario. Okay, up to this yesterday, the data is available. And so these are very serious situations. COVID-19 is again, the new cases are again increasing. So I don't know where this graph will go on, right? Maybe we can forecast this, but again, those are just
estimated things. And similar thing we can make for number of deaths. Okay, so you see now number of deaths are again increasing. So similar type of charts I can make, and there it is. This is, I will make this type of formatting, and you see day by day deaths. So again, it is at peak in September, and then it began to fall, and then again in March you see the curve is coming up, right? So this type of stories this data are telling us, but we can see those stories, we can find those patterns only if we visualize the data, only if we analyze the data. Now this is these are cricket statistics. So in cricket statistics, I would like to make some stories that which type of I mean, what are average and strike rates are very basic things, but I want to find what are the runs per inning, what are balls per inning by different cricketers. So I will make some columns like runs per inning, balls per inning, then fours per inning, then sixes per inning. Okay, so from that I can find who is most attacking batsman. Then percentage of 50s. Okay, how many of people are going beyond 50? Percentage of hundreds. How many cricketers are going scoring centuries in 2020 cricket? It's very less. And percentage of 50 and 100. Okay, percentage of 50 and 100. So okay, so that is also there. And then we have data like percentage of fours, percentage of sixes, and percentage of fours and sixes. So basically, you will get this type of data easily from Cricinfo and other websites, but you will not get this type of data. And that is up to you to analyze that which player is scoring highest number of runs per inning. So for, I will first apply some filters here. So applying some filters, and from that I can see that Virat Kohli is highest run scorer in this 2020 cricket. Most number of innings played by played as a batsman is by Shoaib Malik. The highest run scored is 172 by Aaron Finch. So the star is representing that the batsman was not out. So in not out case, the highest score is 99, but those who are out, the highest is 172. So Aaron Finch from Australia. And most number of centuries is by Rohit Sharma. Most number of 50s is by Virat Kohli. Most number of zeros is by Dilshan, Umar Akmal, and this Kevin O'Brien. And who scored most number of fours? Any guess? It's Virat Kohli from India. And who scored most number of sixes in this 2020 cricket? So we know that West Indians are really nice in hitting sixes. And here, well, that is not the case. Here, Martin Guptill and Rohit Sharma are there. Chris Gayle, the most famous 2020 cricketer, is at 5th number. But we will see the percentage calculation also. So we will see runs per inning data first. So number of runs divided by innings. So you see average of Virat Kohli, Martin Guptill is there. So it is 32, but when it comes to runs per inning, it falls to 30. Then balls per inning. So number of balls faced is 2000 something divided by number of innings. So on an average, Martin Guptill is scoring 30 runs in 22 balls on an average in every innings. How many fours per inning? So fours divided by number of innings, 3 fours. Okay, sixes divided by number of innings, right? Then percentage of 50s. So that is equal to total 50s divided by number of innings played, 18%. Similarly, hundreds. So hundreds divided by innings, 2%, right? And percentage of 50s and hundreds. So that is nothing but just addition of these two things. And then number of fours. So percentage of force. Okay. So how many runs are scored using boundaries? So that is what I want to say. So I need to multiply the number of force by 4, and then I will divide it by number of runs. So 35% of runs are scored by fours by Martin Guptill. And then similarly, I can do it for sixes. So equal to number of sixes divided by total runs. Number of sixes multiplied by 6 divided by number of runs. So 29% sixes are there. Okay. And then this is the addition of 4s and 6. Okay. So 65%. And now I'm going to drag this over all the batsmen who scored more than 500 runs. And now I will see who is scoring most number of runs per inning in 2020 cricket. Okay. So it is David Malan, the English cricketer. Okay. And who is playing most number of balls in 2020? Babar Azam from Pakistan. You can see some new names are coming. If we analyze this, who is scoring most number of fours per inning on an average? Again, David Malan, but he has played less number of matches, so and he's done it nicely, so therefore he's there. If you consider 6 per inning, the Afghanistan cricketer is there. And if you consider percentage of 50s, again David Malan. If you consider percentage of hundreds, then some cricketer from Kuwait is there. Okay, because he has scored 100 in 15 matches. Okay, so therefore number is high. If you consider percentage of 50s and hundreds, again David Malan and Babar Azam are there. If you consider percentage of fours, then Graham Smith and Sanat Jayasuriya are there. Okay, they are retired now, but you see they were scoring so many fours when they were playing 2020 cricket. If you consider percentage of sixes, and here you have the West Indian cricketers. You see Evan Lewis, Andre Russell, and Kieran Pollard and Chris Gale, all the West Indians are there. They really like to hit sixes, and we really enjoy their batting. And number of fours and sixes. So these are the cricketers scoring more number of runs by boundaries. And now I'll be sharing one more thing. I mean, still my presentation is not over, but from this sheet, I can make this type of analysis. I'm just yeah, you can see this 2020 batting records. So most number of innings plays Shoaib Malik, most runs Virat Kohli, most balls faced Virat Kohli, best average Virat Kohli, strike rate. So this type of things you can make. This is data story. Okay, story created from data. And you can see I have also done analysis for bowling data. Okay, and here the highest number of balls per inning is by Yuzvendra Chahal, and most number of wickets per inning is by Kuldeep Yadav. Both Indian cricketers are there. And one more Indian cricketer is shining here is Jasprit Bumrah, most number of maidens in 2020 cricket. Okay, so so actually that type of sheet is also there. There it is, bowling analysis. But due to lack of time, I'm just skipping the bowling analysis part because I want to show you a couple of more things here. Okay, now this data is about 2020 results of all the matches played by India. Okay, so here I would like to show you the histogram of how India is scoring runs. Okay, you can see India is scoring 127, 141, 180, and so and so. So what is histogram? Histogram is a graphical representation of data in which we can analyze that how many times India is scoring runs between 150 to 130. How many times India is scoring run between 170 and 180? How many times India is going above 200? Such type of analysis we can do it. How? So let us see. Just select this runs column. Okay, and then go to insert. Okay, and then we can go for this recommendations, And in recommendation, I can see this histogram chart. So if I click on OK, so I have a histogram chart ready with us. Okay. Now here also, the range is showing some odd numbers like 67 to 93 and so and so. So I won't like to change this range. So just click on it. And then you can select the bin width to be 20 and number of bins to be say 20. Okay, so now you can see this nice histogram that let me just change the numbers again. So so I can do 0 from 300 and number of pins will be 30. Uh, 30 are too much. I think 20 is okay, fine. Okay, and bin width is around 10. Okay, so you can see the gap of 10 runs. So the histogram is highest. So India is scoring on an average 160 to 170 runs in 2020 cricket. Okay, and then below that very less chances, right? And even above 200, very less chances are there. So from this, you can analyze that how India plays. And same thing, you can do it for the wickets fallen. Okay, so there it is, the wickets fallen. So here you see that on an average, bin width is 1. So you can see on an average, India is losing 4 to 5 wickets per match. Okay, and more than 4 or 5 wickets, very less chances. But generally 2, 3, and 4, most number of chances are there. Okay, so these are called histograms. And another thing I would like to show you from this data is pivot table. Okay, so let us prepare a pivot table of this. So I will select the entire data and then click on insert and then pivot table. Okay, I will create a new worksheet here. And then I will apply some filters like I will apply the result here and I will apply the opponent here. And then again, I will apply the result here. So you can see this is performance of India against different countries. Okay, like against for Bangladesh, we have won 10 and we lost 1 match. Okay, let me just make this equal size. Yes, against England, it is 9-10, almost similar, right? India surprisingly not doing good against New Zealand. Against New Zealand, we lost 8 and we won 6. And there are 2 tie matches last year also included here. So we can do this type of analysis by pivot table. You see, we have data in this format. Okay, long tabular data, which cannot fit in our article. But if you create a pivot table, you can easily fit this nice looking table. Okay, I would like to do another analysis also, that what happens when we bat first or ball first. Okay, so in that case, I will select innings here and I'll put results here and here. So this shows that 72 times India has batted first and 67 times India has bowled first. And whenever we bat first, 41 times we have won and 47 times we have lost. So batting first is not beneficial for us in 2020 cricket. And on the other hand, the chances of losing when we bat second is less. So basically Indians are good chasers in 2020 cricket. This type of analysis we can do from this data. So these are pivot tables. And very quickly, I would like to show you the forecast in this last data set that we have. So this is the data set of population of India from 1901 to 2011. So I would like to forecast what will be the future population. Okay, so I will select the column here, and then in data, you can see forecast the sheet. Okay, so I will write forecast end, so that will be 2050, and then there are some confidence interval and kind of things. Confidence interval, that means what is the range of surety. So I will put it as 99%, and that's it. And now you have a new sheet, the graph of Indian population. And here you can see in 2021, the forecasted population is this. In 2031, it is this, and so on. In 2050, we will have this population in India according to the rates at which the population is growing at this moment. And these are lower and upper confidence interval. That means this is a range in which the data can vary. Okay, so this is about the forecasting. So how to do the forecasting? Using this forecast sheet in data tab. And you can see this nice little graph. This blue color means the actual data, and this dark orange color means forecasted data, and these other two lines are showing the confidence of interval. Okay, so actually confidence of interval is nothing but one statistical measure. Okay, so that is what we have, and that's it from my side. We can make similar predictions for rural and urban population. So this was hands-on session. Thank you, all of you. Yeah, just a second, I would like to tell something. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I would like to thank the journalism department of Navrasha University for giving me this opportunity of presenting this. So I'm very much thankful to journalism department, particularly Robbie sir, for giving me this opportunity. And thank you all the participants for attending this. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Shaadev Bhatt, for sharing your knowledge and exploring data with Excel. It was great listening to your words.